is spent on personnel. So that doesn't leave a lot of money that can be cut. So that's why you read in the paper the other day that a bunch of teachers are going to lose their jobs. And this is what is going on with that. One of the things that I am pushing for, the new superintendent is pushing for, several other folks are, is to eliminate as much of the non-school site personnel as possible. The out of classroom teachers and administrators. We're talking literacy coaches, math coaches, and about 10,000 different programs in the downtown headquarters that may be helpful, may not be, but they're not more important than stuff that goes on at the school sites. Those are the people we are planning to cut, okay? Almost all of those people are out of classroom teachers or administrators with bumping rights, meaning they can then go back to their last assignment, which was at a school site, which bumps somebody else, and just like dominoes, the people on the bottom of the food chain are the probationary teachers. Those are the only people we're allowed to fire, so that is why notices went out to over 2,000 probationary teachers that said, if Sacramento tells us that we have to cut this kind of money, and then we're going to cut these people up here, you're probably going to get bumped out of the classroom. That is what we are looking at. Unfortunately, it's now, January 21st, Sacramento still hasn't figured out what kind of budget cut we're going to have to make, and we are running out of time. The last thing about the budget, and hopefully I will come back for a much longer presentation in a few months, and we'll talk about this, but another big part of the budget in Sacramento is the way LA Unified gets over half of its money, it's in categorical programs. It's basically, here LA Unified, here's $25,000, here's $250,000, but you must spend it on X program, whether you want it or not, and they dictate the terms of the program. One of those programs, which is very important to me, is the K through 3 class size reduction, which basically says in kindergarten to 3rd grade, 20 to 1, 20 kids to 1 teacher, okay? Unfortunately, the money we get from Sacramento for that program doesn't actually pay for the program. Next year, LA Unified is not going to be able to meet our end of it with the budget cuts, and if Sacramento does not budge, then we're going to be looking at having no choice but to move our kindergarten through 3 class sizes up to 30, 35, 37 kids. It is a miserable budget situation. So what we are asking for from Sacramento is flexibility. Let us have the class size reduction money, and in exchange, we will increase class sizes kindergarten to 3rd to 25, and then reduce class sizes in 4th and 5th grade, and we'll be able to keep K-5 at 25 to 1. That's just one of the examples of one of the flexibilities we're asking from Sacramento. It is tough, and I will urge all of you to, if you care about this issue, which I hope that you do, contact the governor and your state legislators and let them know that you care about public education and you care about giving LA Unified the flexibility to be able to maintain smaller class sizes. Thanks.
I have one question before you go. And this was a question from the audience. If Wendy Gruhl is elected city controller, are you going to be running for city council?
Very flattering. I've been asked before. It's something I'm thinking about.
You heard it here first. Okay. So with that, I'd like to ask Ellen Lukovich and also Serena. Come on up here quickly. Then Ellen.
Hi everyone, my name is Serena Clemens, and as you've all heard, we need money. Our city needs money. They want to raise taxes and cut programs and everything. So I have a wonderful idea of raising money for our city, and it's basically through recycling trash cans. Just a mock idea. LAX had these in their lobby, but it's not exactly the kind of trash cans that I would use here. But on every city street, outside of Starbucks, at the bus stops, any public street, not our residential households, but actually on Ventura Boulevard or any of those streets, we should have a bottles and cans only recycling trash can right next to the regular trash can. I walk by so many trash cans and I see bottles and cans and everything in them, and it should be separated, and in that way we can, our city can recoup money and through the recyclable. Question?
Okay, then you want to
okay.
Okay, do you want more
Thank
information? You want to help her? See her
Yeah.
after the meeting. Ellen's coming up. Matt Epstein, who is chairman of the South Valley Planning Commission, must leave the room. So Ellen Vukovic can give us an update on development projects in the Sherman Oaks area.
Hi everybody, Happy New Year. And I don't know if you've read President Obama's biography. If you haven't, I encourage you to read it, because in it you'll discover that he started as a community activist. He called it a community organizer, and look where it took him today. And my point in saying this all to you is that every single person here in this room is connected, and the power that's being generated from all of you taking the time tonight to come here and show your concern is something that can be carried forth to sending the powerful messages when you vote. And if you'll notice, there's an overriding theme coming up in our last couple of meetings on the YouTube sites, and this month's, and of course next month's meeting, the importance of all of you voting and being informed voters. Proposition B, the solar measure, I just want to tell you that the city of Los Angeles is, or certain parties within the city are waging a very aggressive campaign to defeat any proponents, anybody that dares to speak out against it. They went so far as to sue what is now called the Solar Aid. David Hernandez was one of the parties, as was Ron Kay from the Daily News, the former editor. And they did not achieve their objective, which was to have any opposing arguments on the upcoming ballot measure. You know we vote again in March, and then we'll be voting again in June, and then we'll be voting again probably in September. But anyway, the court ruled in favor of the solar aid, and this is monumental because there was objectionable wording that the solar aid later realized within reason should be removed, which was the reference to no public hearings were conducted to hear Proposition B. The fact of the matter is, when you hear all and read all the campaign literature that will be coming your way, there was a very important part about the public process that was removed. And there's a memorandum of understanding that exists between the Department of Water Power and the neighborhood councils, and that they are supposed to bring, DWP is supposed to bring large matters, including rate increases, before they implement them or consider them, to the neighborhood councils. There's 90 or so, I think there's 80 or so certified neighborhood councils. They represent hundreds of thousands of stakeholders in the city of Los Angeles, and as such, they're elected by stakeholders, people like you and me. And that whole process was totally ignored by the city council. Plan B, or Measure B, was literally railroaded right through the city council, and then a consultant's report was issued right after that saying, look, this thing's filled with more holes than a solar panel is used to capture the sun's rays. The point of me telling you all of this is just be very careful when you hear and you read the literature. Consider what David Hernandez says. It is true. It's a $3 billion bond measure. Where's the money coming from? Yeah, right. So who's that mean? Of course, resident ATMs. Okay. It looks to raise electrical rates by about 40%. And if you don't believe me, you can talk to Nick. I don't know if Nick is still here. There he is. He's the man that can tell you even more. All right, on to other news. Development issues, things are very slow right now, understandably. You know, this is one of those things, be careful what you wish for, because just when development does slow down, you end up with other problems, in this case, half-completed construction projects and vacant lots. So you are the ears and the eyes of the community. Again, I'm talking about claiming some of that power, some of that